Go inside the Crimson Tide with your hosts Rodney Orr and Gary Harris, keeping you informed on everything Alabama. And now, Tider Insider TV.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome into another edition of Tider Insider TV alongside Rodney Orr from TiderInsider.com. I'm WVUA 23 Sports Director Gary Harris. Our program presented each and every week by Buffalo Rock. Tonight, once again, Diet Pepsi Wild Cherry. Love that sound. Love that taste. Gives you all that great Pepsi taste with a little kick of cherry. 0 calories. Check out Diet Pepsi Wild Cherry the next time you're at your local grocery store. Well, Rodney, you know, football is never far off the front page here in Tuscaloosa, and certainly this week it's on the front page again. Pro Day tomorrow. More on that in a moment. But we're going to start off with spring practice beginning on Friday. I know spring break is next week, but I love what Coach Saban does, Rod, bringing them in for one practice on Friday to get the team together, see where they're at, because the coaches can't get in front of the team unless it's an organized spring practice session. So you're able to get a look at where everybody stands and also, I think, go over some key points with them about what to do and not to do, a way to conduct yourself on spring break, and also remind them, hey, when you get back, you got football waiting on you that next Monday. So take care of your bodies. Remember your conditioning. Be ready to go when you get back from spring break.
Yep, those are all things that they do, Gary. I think those are all great points. And, you know, it's like you said, it's an opportunity to get the complete team together all at once, kind of advise them on what they're getting ready to do on spring break and to kind of keep that focus in terms of, you know, what you've got to do when you get back from spring break. It's certainly business. Important part of business.
It really is, and this spring is going to be crucial for several position battles that they will probably take on into fall camp. But still, let's start with quarterback because that's where everybody's always focusing. 4 scholarship quarterbacks in line to replace Jake Coker. Of course, Cooper Bateman's the most experienced. David Cornwell, Blake Barnett, and the true freshman Jalen Hurts, who has already enrolled. Those 4 players, do you think the reps, the way that they handle them, will be pretty much equal in the spring?
Well, I think they'll certainly all get their opportunities. You remember last year they worked 5, and then they kind of moved Cooper Bateman for a little while to wide receiver. But, you know, I really think when you look at these 4 guys, Gary, that Alabama may have a little bit more to work with in terms of number of players that have the potential to contribute at the position or that could win the position versus the last 2 years. You remember a couple of years ago it was really only Blake Sims. Last year there was a lot of competition. We talked about that. But I think they've got more guys who are closer to being ready to play maybe in terms of the group they have right now.
Yeah, all very talented, all highly recruited quarterbacks. You saw a lot of video of Bo Scarborough there. Running back is another really interesting battle because Derrick Henry's gone. Kenyon Drake is gone. You got Scarborough, you got Damian Harris, you got some other guys who are going to try to factor in. But this is also an unproven spot on this football team.
I think it's a huge spring at running back. I think both Bo Scarborough and Damian Harris need as many reps as they can get in every area of the game. Obviously, not just running the ball, but it's very important that the Alabama running backs, you know, understand their blocking, the things they have to do in terms of blocking and as receivers. So I think those guys really, this is a big spring to get them as many reps as they can in every area.
And on the offensive line, a couple critical positions, right tackle and center, where Ryan Kelly, like Barrett Jones before him, was an All-American. So those are 2 positions that are up for grabs.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting at center. There's certainly a lot of guys that will compete at that spot. J.C. Hassenauer is a guy that maybe some people have kind of talked about as being the one who may step in. He's certainly waited his time. He's the last 2 years. And, you know, they have some other guys. Bradley Bozeman's been a swing guy as a guard and a center over the last couple of years. Josh Casher's a guy that also has played both positions or worked at both positions. And then they have a redshirt freshman, Brandon Kennedy, who's worked at both positions as well. So I think from those 4 guys, they'll certainly find one. And I think at right tackle, I really think that they have an opportunity to be better this year at right tackle, maybe as the season goes along, than they were last year. And that's taking nothing away from Dominic Jackson. But I really thought he was more of an interior guy who did an excellent job with what he had at right tackle. But, you know, we've talked about some of the guys in the past that will compete at that spot. Charles Baldwin's a junior college player that just came in and certainly will compete. Matt Womack's a redshirt freshman, has a lot of great size. Corin Curvin actually started the Charleston Southern game when Dominic Jackson wasn't ready or had the injury. So he's got a little bit of experience, and he's improved over the last year. And then who knows, Jonah Williams, the highly regarded freshman out of California who enrolled early, he could certainly get a strong look at right tackle as well, and maybe even Lester Cotton, who could work at several spots in the spring.
And defensively, some interesting battles as well. We'll be continuing to watch those as we go through Tighter Insider and spring practice, and we'll break down some of those. Defensive tackle, outside linebacker, inside linebacker, corner, looking for help there on defense as well. Well, tomorrow is the Alabama Pro Day, and it is always a big day. Certainly, the Combine, 9 Alabama former Bama players were invited to that. But some guys did not get Combine invites, including Jake Coker. So tomorrow is a crucial day for him to show well, Rodney, in front of these NFL players or NFL coaches and scouts. Has his release gotten quicker? How's his footwork? All things that they're going to be watching from Jake Coker.
He knows how to fight the odds, doesn't he? I mean,
he does.
He's had to do it several times, from the battle with Jameis Winston, eventually transferring here, not winning the job, people counting him out last year, and he comes in and even doesn't start a game, the only game Alabama lost, but he was 14-0 as a starter himself, won a national championship. So he's got a lot of tools. He's got great size. He's got a great arm. You talked about maybe some people questioning his release and what have you. But here's an opportunity for him to kind of show what he can do a little bit.
And you're looking at Dylan Lee, Geno Matthias-Smith, Darren Lake, Denzel Duvall. These are all guys that didn't go to Pro Day but still have hopes of playing professional football, so they'll get a chance to work tomorrow.
And, you look at a guy like Dylan Lee, and you think about how he progressed over his career and ended up his career. Remember the great interception against Michigan State. He's a fantastic athlete. Yeah. He's a really good athlete. So it's going to be interesting for some of these guys. There you see Geno Smith, number 24. He played for 4 years here. Yeah. So he's going to get an opportunity to show, some of the scouts what he can do. And,
of course, a lot of the guys that worked out at the Combine will be working tomorrow as well, but we know they're going to get their shot at the NFL. It's really a big day for some of those guys that we talked about who did not get Combine invites. Well, still to come on Tighter Insider Television, Alabama men's basketball. Are they completely out of the NCAA tournament? Well, odds are that they're going to have to win the SEC to get there, but we'll break it down, what their chances may be of making a deep run in Nashville. Also, later on the program, we'll be getting to your phone calls, emails, and tweets. You can call us at 205-348-WVUA. That's 348-9882. Email us at titv@WVUA23.com or reach out to us on Twitter using the hashtag TITV. Katarina will be taking a look at those messages on Twitter. So stay with us. We'll be right back with more of the show that takes you inside the Crimson Tide, the one, the only Tighter Insider TV. We'll return right after this.
We're in a situation where obviously we're a lower seed. Not much is expected of us. So we just need to go out and play our game. I just thought there were certain points of the season where we got a little bit tight, which is not really our DNA. Our team is normally a team that's focused, but yet has a lot of fun. And we haven't had, consistent fun here recently, but this gives us a chance. It's a new season for everybody.
It is a new season for everybody. Welcome back to Tighter Insider Television alongside Rodney Orr. I'm Gary Harris. Alabama loses its season finale in Athens to Georgia on Saturday, 70-63. This is the way the SEC season broke down. It was really odd. Started 1-5, went 6-1 over the next 7 games, and then finished 1-4.
Streaky.
So they hit a middle stretch where they're playing really well, but they opened poorly and finished poorly. So, Rodney, the reality of it is this now. Alabama's not going to go to the NCAA tournament unless they win the SEC tournament. And to do that, they have to win 4 games in 4 days. They have to beat Ole Miss right off the bat on Thursday night and then get Kentucky if they're successful against the Rebels before they can even get to the weekend. So it's a long shot, but you know what? That's why you play the games.
Yeah, but don't you think he probably has gotten about as much as he could have out of this team?
I do. Yeah. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And this is a video from the game at Georgia on Saturday. Give them credit for this. They were in the game with a couple minutes to go. They got hammered on the boards. Retno Basahan did not play well. Now, Shannon Hale did have 25, but this team does have a tendency to hang around. They were only blown out twice in the SEC, and that was both times by Kentucky. So they're a tough-minded team. We're still a little bit short on talent. I'm with you, Rod. I think they got most everything they could out of this particular team. And who knows? Maybe they win one on Thursday night against Ole Miss.
They could have folded here in the last game against Georgia, and they really didn't. Like you said, they were competitive. They fought. They tried to win the game to the end. So, that's really all you can ask for. It's a first-year situation. I think people need to be understanding of that, and I think Coach Johnson certainly needs time to get some of his players in here. And I think we've already started to see the mental aspect of it, the things he's trying to incorporate in that regard, I think we're already seeing it in this program.
Well, I hope they beat Ole Miss and get a little revenge there. They lost the season opener in the SEC at Oxford by 8 back on January 7th because they're not beating Kentucky. I don't care if it's in Lexington, if it's in Tuscaloosa, if it's in Nashville. They're not going to beat Kentucky. So maybe try to win one and then, play better against the Wildcats than they did in the 2 games during the regular season. All right, let's talk some Bama baseball. Crimson Tide's off to a hot start, 10-2. They beat some good teams. Pitching has been excellent, including the bullpen. The depth in that bullpen is really one reason that Alabama, according to Mitch Gaspard, is 10-2.
Well, pitching's been dominant, really since day one, and I think what's really been good to see is the number of pitchers that have thrown so well. I mean, obviously we've gotten a lot of quality starts from our weekend guys, but when you start looking at the depth, that we've been able to build in the bullpen, that's what's really encouraging, right now, I think, as our pitching staff, is we're very comfortable, with going to, 10, 11 guys right now that have pitched in really big spots.
Riding last weekend at the prestigious USA Baseball Irish Classic up in Cary, North Carolina. They go 3-1. They shut out Notre Dame, lost a 1-run game to number 8 North Carolina State, 2-1. Thursday night, Oregon rolls in here. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday they get Houston. But this pitching has been unbelievable. Through 12 games, an ERA under 2.
Yeah, and talking preseason to a lot of people around the program, they thought that the pitching was going to be dominant. They thought that was going to be what would give them an opportunity to win, a lot of games, make a lot of improvement over last year. And, if they ever get the bats really going.
That's going to be the key, because against these good teams that they're playing, at some point you're going to need a little more offense. I don't think you can expect your pitching staff to continue to pitch at this level, although I do think they'll be good for the whole year. But if they can get some offense going, and Keith Holcomb's been a big help there, who knows? I mean, I'm telling you, I'm impressed with what I've seen from this club so far, but a lot of baseball still to go. Well, coming up next on Titv, get ready to, you don't dial anymore, do you? I still like to say dial. I'm so old school, I guess. Punch the button to call us with your phone calls at 205-348-9882, or you can email us if you would like. There's the email address, or our own Caterina Matero. That's how you say it down there in Argentina, where she's from, I think. She'll be watching for you on Twitter using the hashtag TITV. We'll be right with your phone calls, emails, and more. More TITV coming up after the break. The 5th-year senior from Belgium has had an outstanding year, and now Retno Basahan is capping it off by being awarded the 2016 SEC Scholar Athlete of the Year, which tells you he's not just a good basketball player. He takes care of business in the classroom. Heck, Rodney speaks 4 or 5 languages.
Wow, impressive.
You and I have trouble with English.
Yeah, that's right.
He's also first-team All-SEC, as well as being named to the All-SEC defensive team. Way to go, Retno. You have been big time this year for the Tide. All right, Rodney, phone lines are open. If you want to get through, you can do it right now, 205-348-9882. Right now, let's go to the hotline and talk with our buddy Harold over there in Anniston. What's up, Big H?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hanging in there, man. What you got?
Hey, man, let me ask y'all a question, man. How far you think this basketball team would have been, man, if they had anything close to a dominant rebounder?
Well, Harold, they'd have been a lot better, but, that's the challenge. I mean, you could probably say that about a lot of teams. You get a guy in there and get you, 8, 9, 10, 11 rebounds a game. A lot of teams would look different. Yeah. So they didn't have that player. I mean, I know what you're saying, but that's the challenge for this coaching staff, is to get a guy like that, because you're right. They weren't a good rebounding team. When Dejon Ingram went out, the freshman point guard, he was leading the team in rebounding. You got Kessens, you got Taylor. I do like what I've seen from the freshman Dante Hall. But next year, all those guys come back. They got to get on the backboard better. Just got to do a better job getting on the backboard. But they're going to try to find the kind of player that he is talking about. Maybe it's Braxton Key, who's already signed. Problem is, everybody else is looking for those guys too, Rod.
That's right. And not only that, I think really the thing I got from Avery Johnson down the stretch was that he wanted more desire when it came to rebounding. He didn't think that they put their effort into rebounding like they should have.
All right, let's go to line 2 and talk with Greg. Greg, welcome into the program. How are you, buddy?
Fine. How are you guys?
Very well.
Great. I have a quick question for you. Do we have an update on the big running back out of North Carolina that was a little short on his ACT score as far as qualifying?
We had an email about that as well. A lot of people concerned about B.J. Emmons, already signed. making it into school? Because he is a big-time running back.
Yeah, a couple things here. First of all, yeah, he did improve his test score. Now, he does have to finish out his senior year in good fashion in the classroom. But I'd talked to his coach, Brandon Allen, a long time ago, and he felt very confident that when all was said and done, that B.J. Emmons would be eligible and would be at Alabama here, late May, early June. So I feel pretty confident, but it's certainly not a done deal yet. But it's getting closer.
Keep our fingers crossed. You know what they say.
Closer.
All right, let's get an email. This one comes to us from over in Helena. Gary's a good guy, got to be. Are there any graduate transfer running backs that Alabama's looking at adding for 2016?
Well, there could be. I think that's a spot where if there was one that became available that they thought could help them next year, they certainly would probably take a strong look at him. Now, again, there had been some talk about Barry Sanders, Barry Sanders Jr., also the kid at Michigan, Derek Green. There had been some talk about him, whether or not there was any sort of a contact or not. I really don't know. But I think that is a position that if something became available that they felt like was a guy who could help them next year, they'd probably take a really strong look at it.
Well, that's kind of the saving rule, isn't it? I mean, if he can get a good football player that can help him, he's going to take a look at it.
Maybe even a defensive lineman too.
Yeah. All right, got to get to a break, but coming up, more of your phone calls, emails, and tweets. There again, the information on the screen, 205-348-9882 is the number, so go ahead and dial through now so you can be ready to go when we get back with more of the show that takes you inside the Crimson Tide. The award-winning Tighter Insider TV will return right after this. Second-ranked Alabama softball hosted another tournament, the Easton Crimson Classic over the weekend. Bama went 4-1. North Dakota State did break the Tide's 18-game winning streak on Saturday night with a 2-1 win, but the Tide came back on Sunday. Alexis Osorio, career-high 16 strikeouts. First time somebody's done that at Alabama since Kelsey Dunn in 2010. Bama rolled over the University of Louisiana Monroe. 5-0 was the final. All right, Rod, let's get right back on the phone lines. Next up is Reg over in Birmingham. Welcome in, Reg. How are you?
Yes, I've been there waiting. I enjoyed your radio broadcast of the softball team. I wish we could get a little more coverage of softball in Birmingham.
Yes, sir.
Nothing's ever written about it in the Birmingham News. I doubt that they know that we have a softball team. And I was wondering to make a comment about your program, the Sports Manager there, a program that comes on Friday. I watch yours and one on Friday every week.
Crimson Cover?
Yes, and I think that the keynote speaker, so to speak, on that Crimson Cover overlooks Copeland too much. He knows quite a bit about sports and football, and I wish that he would pay more attention, give him more chance to talk on that station.
All right, Reg, well, I'll tell you
and
what.
I appreciate your call.
Yes, sir. They're probably watching. If not, I'll pass that along to Chase Goodbread, John Copeland, and Mike Parker for you. So, but I do appreciate you watching Tighter Insider TV and Crimson Cover. Let's go to Trustful and talk with Bo. Hey, Bo, not Bo Jackson, is it?
Hey, no, it's not. No, it's not. I wish. But anyway, guys, good evening. I just want to make sure, due to the current events lately, is it a certainty that Lane Kiffin will be back?
Well, I don't guess anything in life's a certainty, Bo. You know that. The Illinois job, made me a little bit nervous, but a great hire for them, by the way, with Lovie Smith. I think they hit a home run right there. The program has been struggling. Yeah, I think, Bo, he's going to be coaching this year. Will he be coaching next year? I mean, I think it's a year-to-year deal with him. But I do think he's going to be the offensive coordinator in 2016 right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly headed in that direction. Again, an opportunity could always present itself that would maybe change that, what his position is now, but certainly expect him back.
All right, great phone calls tonight. Emails as well. Got to get Kayla and Katerina, got to get them on that Twitter. They got to get some tweets rolling in here, man. That hashtag TITV, I'm not sure how it works, but I know they'll see it if you tweet at us. We'll be back to wrap up Tighter Insider TV. There's a look at our control room. More to come from Tuscaloosa after this. And welcome back to TITV, presented by Buffalo Rock. Gary Harris, that's me. Rodney Orr, that's him. And I'm pretty sure you know who you are. Before we get out of here, a couple of other notes. Women's golf team, a big win for them over the weekend. The Darius Rucker Invitational. That's a big college tournament. Darius Rucker, former lead singer of Hootie and the Blowfish, now a country star. So, you know, you don't just roll into the Darius Rucker Invitational and win it without really playing some good golf. So, congratulations to Alabama women's golf. Speaking of golf, Rodney, we want to mention a terrific tournament. For many, many years, Gene Stallings lent his time, his name, and tremendous effort into the Rise tournament, as you know. He still is a big proponent and supporter of Rise, no longer able to be is involved in that tournament, but the Rise Tournament of Champions golf tournament coming up on April 21st and 22nd. Remember, that's always a Thursday and Friday event. This year at the North River Golf Club, benefiting the Rise School of Tuscaloosa. This is the major fundraiser for Rise. For more information, go to www.riseschool.ua.edu. Again, www.riseschool.ua.edu. Rise School does so much terrific work. Support this tournament, please, and hopefully I'll get to play in it this year as well. Well, Avery Johnson and the Alabama men's basketball team stopped by to shoot some hoops with the wheelchair basketball teams, men and women, before they left for the national tournament this morning. And, of course, Coach Johnson had to get a selfie. How about that, Rod? Isn't that great?
That's fantastic.
Of course, the women and men's basketball team, both national championship contenders. The women have won 4 national championships, and the men have won 1. They're both going to Edinburgh, Pennsylvania to try to win it this year. All right, before we close it out, our beautiful shirts tonight, as always, provided by the Locker Room in downtown Tuscaloosa, home of the original Elephant Wear. Shop in person or go online and shop at their website, locker-room.biz. That's going to do it for the program. Thanks to you for watching. Thanks to everybody here for putting it together. Thanks to Rodney Orr. I'm Gary Harris. If you missed the program, you can catch it again tonight on a replay at 10:30 after the news at 10, or catch it online anytime, WVUA23.com. Have a good night, everybody.